Hey everyone, welcome back to the Todd Co-Training YouTube channel and the Instructor Growth Series. Last week we talked about making better observations while training, and that focus really paid off during my last range session. Today I want to share what I've been learning about tension and how it's affecting my own shooting. Something that was discussed a lot when I started learning about practical shooting is the body's natural tendency to tense up. When I shot some of the more complicated drills in my last video, I started to notice that tension because I was aware that it tends to be a problem. On drills like Crisscross and El Presidente, I noticed my shoulders tensing up. My firing hand was over gripping the gun. Here's what really stood out to me once I started paying close attention. Tension was quietly destroying my consistency and speed. When I tensed up, my grip pressure kept changing from shot to shot. That made the gun behave differently every time I pressed the trigger. The dot would shift, my finger would stiffen, and I couldn't break shots cleanly and fast because I was just gripping too hard and had too much tension. As you can see here in this demonstration, as I start to change grip pressure, you start to see the sight moving around in the target. I also noticed it hurt my target transitions. Instead of smoothly floating the gun to the next target, I was overdriving it, making corrections and losing time. I went back to the range specifically hunting for this tension in my own shooting. For the first half of the session, I focused on doubles at about 7 yards. I pasted black pasters on the target, used it as an aiming reference, and began firing 2 shots faster than I could consciously correct the sights. It immediately brought out that same tension I felt before, but now I was tuned into it and could feel it building. For the second half, I ran the Accelerator drill. The transitions from fast, close range to slower distance shooting really highlighted where the tension was creeping back in. The targets showed me exactly where I was losing performance. Overdriving the gun, occasionally dropping shots low, and also importantly, getting distracted by the sight as it's moving in recoil. Shots left and right were because of inconsistent grip pressure and tension in my shoulders and arms. By the end of the session, I was hitting that mild frustration that Ben and Joel talk about on their YouTube channels a lot. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it on video, but before leaving for the day, I decided to work on just a few more doubles and really relax my arms, my elbows, and something surprising happened. The hits started to line up where I wanted them to in a nice, tight, small group on the black pasters I had put on the targets. That moment was huge for me. It proved the book concepts aren't just theory. They work when you actually apply them in your own training. So I took that lesson home and used a dry fire drill called trigger control at speed. I set my timer for a 1-second par time and did sets of 10. Trigger finger starts just off the face of the trigger. On the beep, while aimed at my reference point on a dry fire target, I pull the trigger as fast as possible while focusing on keeping my firing hand grip pressure consistent, pulling the trigger straight to the rear, and maintaining strict visual focus on the target. With regular practice, I've already noticed less unnecessary movement in my hands, shoulders, and arms. And most importantly, the dot stays near the area I'm focused on instead of jumping around the target. If you're working through the same book or just trying to get faster and more consistent, try bringing this kind of awareness into your own sessions. Start by noticing where tension shows up for you, then experiment with relaxing more than you think you should. Drop a comment below. Where do you notice tension the most in your shooting? What's one thing you're going to try this week? If you're getting value from these videos, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.